has pops of color. It's kind of black and white vintage style photo. Like there's so much to the images. Like do it, but for the most part, intuition is something that you yourself have to really work at. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Hi, I'm Mand. So today's video, I thought we could do a little bit of a playing with decks or deck pairing. I'm not sure what the title of this will be, but I feel like these two are going to be amazing for my ancestral work and kind of the idea that I've been playing around with, I suppose, for connecting with my ancestors. And I know a lot of you wanted to do more ancestral work or dive further this year. So I do feel like this year, in that sense, I feel a lot more people are wanting to connect more with whether it be their family tree or just the essence of their ancestors, spirit guides. You know, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be far more like deep dive kind of a year. That's the sense that I'm getting for 2025. I feel like more want to go further than just the generic meanings, as in you're leaning more into your intuition. So that's what I kind of want to do more. I want to connect more with my ancestors and I want to kind of get to know them on a deeper basis, even if I have no information on them or anything like that. So I'm definitely going to cover more videos on ancestral work because it's something that I'm like really interested in. But I feel like these decks are going to be fantastic. So let's flip through. Let's have a chit chat about ancestral work and my thoughts and processes and things like that. So grab maybe the deck that you want to work with. Maybe you have this deck and you want to do your own kind of flip through at the same time. Whatever you want, or just prop me up and listen to me. That's totally fine too. So let's get into the video. So I'm going to try and keep this as short and sweet as I can. But we have the Rosebud Tarot, which if you've been here for a while, you know I got this actually nearly this time last year. Maybe next month it'd be nearly here, but I haven't worked with it. Shame on me. No excuses. But anyway, and I got this at the end of last year, and this is the Cosmic Roads Oracle by Amanda Lynn Ashley. The Rosebud Tarot is by, oh my gosh, this is the one I always struggle with, the name of the creator for this. Should be here somewhere. So it is by Wiser Books. Archetypal Dreamscape. Oh, the creator here, the artist is Amanda. So I'm wondering who is an author. So you have Amanda Lee Steinwell and Diana Rose Harper. So this is the writer and then this is the artist. So, and the guidebook for the Rosebud is like very, very simple. It's not one that I have dived into just yet. I will. And if I remember correctly, I mean, it's not that long ago that I flicked through this. So this is the Rosebud. That the guidebook is kind of simple on this one too. So let's do a side-by-side comparison of them and see how do they work. Are they working like I thought they would in my head? I love the inside of this box. It's so cute. This is a Hay House deck, and this is, like I said, a Wiser book. It's this is the creator, and then this is by Wiser Books. So, apologies for the noise. So I'm going to keep, okay, so can you see, one second, if I put this like this, so you can see there's already, in one sense, and this was kind of unknown to myself, a similarity in like between the roses, and obviously this is the Rosebud Tarot, but even the inside. So now, I don't think the Rosebud Tarot was actually set up with the intention of like ancestral work. I definitely see here that it's an archetypal dreamscape. So what I like here is we recommend acquiring a fresh notebook to keep track of your engagement with Rosebud. Your future self will thank you for taking the time to write down the questions you ask, as well as your thoughts, insights, and interpretations. So I think that's really cool. It's an excuse for me to make a new journal anyway, and to dive further into this. So if you'd be interested in maybe seeing kind of what journal I come up with, then I'm more than happy to share that, of course. But let's put these guidebooks to the side for a minute. So as you can see, the backs are nothing alike, okay? So even by just looking at the backs, you're kind of like, no, not really. Okay, so I actually zoomed you guys in a little bit because I feel like we want to get a good look at all of this. So size-wise, they're not too far off. Jeepers, I'm way out of frame here. I'm hoping me being zoomed in isn't going to wash out the print too much. But as you can see, they both have a moon on the back, so that is pretty cool. And colour-wise, I wouldn't say they were very similar. I'm going to take a sip of water. So take a sip of water with me right now, so we need to hydrate. And cardstock-wise, I'd say they're nearly on par, even not even gloss-wise, but like finish-wise, that's the word I'm looking for. Finish-wise, they're pretty much the same. They're kind of that semi-matte. I wouldn't say they were glossy because I have the overhead light on, or like the big light on, so it doesn't show up on the card, which is cool. So, okay, I'm just wanting to look at the screen to make sure these aren't completely washed out. They're not, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to flip these over. So I'll leave these as the top cards. And at least we can have a good look here and see my thought process. And is it going to work how I imagined it? Already looking at this, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I can see how in my head this is articulating, as long as I can actually get the words out on what I've been thinking. So we have generosity of earth and we have control. So by looking at these two, I can go, okay, I can see. Let's look up the meaning. That's where my brain is going right now. Okay, so you have sevens and then the sun. So where our generosity of earth. So it's the heart's roots grant the gift of stable beauty and unyielding abundance of life's enduring grace. So I suppose in the sense that I would be picking up is kind of letting go of control of trying to acquire everything. You don't need to have everything in place. Or to gain everything that you want, you need to let go of control. So you can go from many different angles with this. So I'm not going to do a whole like interpreting the cards and things like that, but I just want to see even art style wise, I felt like they'd work very well because this has pops of colours, kind of black and white vintage style photos, and this is very colourful but has that kind of vintage feel as well, if that makes sense. So I like the way we've generosity of air. Now this isn't 100% shuffled right either, so, and I did shuffle this one. So some of the cards might still be in order in the Rosebud, but I like the two of these. I can see how they go. So I suppose in the sense of how would it work in relation to ancestral. I'm not really sure what happened there. My camera just started shaking like really bad. I'm kind of looking now going, okay, this is kind of okay. Alrighty. So I feel, one second, let me bring you out a small bit. So my camera might not be, oh my gosh, the professionalism here is just out of this world. But I can see how, in one sense, I feel like this already is, and kind of what I'm hearing in my head as well, is really their messages. So more so than connecting with their essence or who they are as a person, I really feel like these are kind of messages from your ancestors, which is funny because there's many decks out there that you could get like messages. I think I actually have an oracle deck that's called Messages from Your Ancestors, but I feel like this could go so much deeper. It suits kind of the practice that I already have anyway, or the style of decks that I already like. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to go for here. So curiosity of art and hope. And can you see already, even though that the art style is different to each other, they're also similar, like they also match. I like the way we have like the little flickers or glitter specks, and how she's looking at this way but she's looking the opposite. So you can do kind of a past and present or past and future spread. You know, you could definitely do a bigger spread with these because these cards can accommodate, because they're not so big, that you could accommodate for that. I love this card, the freedom. It's like the oddest things to see somebody in. I want to say this is a canoe, but I don't think. Is this a kayak? It's a boat anyway. Maybe it's a canoe. Maybe it is a canoe. I'm not sure. Please tell me in the comments below. But I can see how we've 10 of heart and freedom. Like, that's 10 of pentacles. So that makes total sense, and having that freedom. So, you know, maybe it's materialistic freedom, financial freedom. Freedom in one sense, I kind of get that whole being authentically yourself. Not being afraid to be silly and just letting go and cutting loose. You know, be that weirdo that goes up a rainbow in a canoe. I'm not really sure how you'd manage that, but listen, more power to you if you can do it. You know, I really like the way these two pair, because I do feel like they're very clear and concise messages from my ancestors. You could nearly pick up their essence, kind of, in one sense of it. I'm not sure how this is going to work on a really bringing forth of who's coming forward. So whether it be maybe you're trying to connect with your grandmother, or your, like, was it your grandparents even in general, or your great grandparents, or an aunt or an uncle, or maybe it's even further back. Maybe it's like 7 generations back. So like whatever that is, great, you know, and so on and so forth. Maybe in one sense, I'm also kind of getting this whole connecting with a past life. You know, I feel like this could work great with past life connections as well, because of the style and the artwork that is portrayed in these cards. It's not just a particular era, it's many eras all blended into one. Because as you can see here, we have beautiful pyramids and the Sphinx. And then we also have presents. So this has more that celestial feel. So I feel like this is kind of like your grounded rootedness, and then this is kind of the higher dimension, if you like to take that approach. I personally do, so that is kind of how I would approach my cards. So I can see how it would be to connect with ancestors, because the further back you go, the more connections you can make, and I feel like they'll be able to kind of give you an inkling of who they are or how they're coming through and things like that. So I connect greatly with my great grandmother, so on my Oma's mum, so my mum's grandmother. So I would have connected, and I still do a lot with her, so I would know kind of her essence and how she comes through. But believe it or not, I don't really connect with my Opa all that much. He occasionally comes through, but not a whole pile. Again, it's kind of one that I will dive further into in another video to kind of explain it maybe a little bit better. But oh, that is so cool. So this works so much better than I thought it would. So you've like 2 of fire, and then you also have paradox, and you see the way we've like our 2 candles. Well, okay, that's not a candle, that's a bamboo stick. But from here, it looks like a flame. I'm just saying, right? So it's really cool. I love the way this is working. So I'm going to do a couple more cards, because I'm sure maybe you want to get a better feel, or maybe you have the Rosebud and you weren't sure how you're going to work with it, or maybe you have the Cosmic Crossroads Oracle and you don't know what tarot deck to pair it with. So this would be my suggestion. This is just my personal opinion, but I love the way I'm hoping my camera isn't washing it out too much, but I promise you this is quite a vibrant deck. So I don't know why my camera automatically kind of mutes it down a small bit, you know. Stop dimming the cards' lights because they're beautiful. But I love the way, like, look at that 9 of fire. And then we have delight. And you see the way, like, these sparkles, the cosmos, work together. They're, like, nearly matching side by side. And then we have more roses here, obviously. Rosebud tarot. And then we have the rose here. So there's beauty to be found there's messages, there's insights, there's so much depth to be found in these cards. I feel like this is definitely not just a one card draw. It's going to be a deck that's going to require me to sit down and think about it a little bit more, connect with it more, really. And I feel like there's so much to the images. Like, even though she has her mouth open, and this, the tiger, also has its mouth open. So can you see the connection here that I'm going for? And I like the fact that there's many different, that's the word I'm looking for, races in it. As in the sense of, you know, you have many different skin colors and body types, and okay, races and body types, but you know what I'm trying to say here, because I'm not just of Irish descent, right? So I'm not just Irish. I'm also, my mom is Dutch, so I would have Dutch ancestors, but then my Oma is Indonesian, so I also have connection to Indonesia, so I'd have like that Asian aspect as well. So I have like my family tree is chaotic at the best, so you can imagine what my ancestral line is. Now I do want to state as well, please don't feel that just because maybe you are, I would say, just, oh, I don't know, from just one country, and your parents are both of that nationality, and their parents and then their parents, that, oh, well, I don't have any connection to any. That makes no difference. That doesn't make your ancestral line any less important or any less, you know, or boring or anything like that, you know, because maybe okay, for example, maybe your parents are Irish and your grandparents were Irish on both sides and so on and so forth, and you're like, oh gosh, but sure, I've only Irish ancestry, right? But there's so much depth to that you could go into and that you can explore, and even the folklore, maybe, you know, you can ask them certain things and kind of see like what intuitive messages you're picking up from them, maybe going to their home place and things like that, maybe where they grew up. That's great if you can do it in your own country. Whereas for me, I mean, if I wanted to connect more with where my great grandmother on my mom's side, I'd have to go to Indonesia, and that's a journey, and it's expensive to be able to do that. So thank God for the internet in that sense. Oh my gosh, I've been chatting for like nearly 10 minutes or 9 minutes only. But still, you get the idea. You see the way, like, we have our 4 of water, and then we have, which is our 4 of cups, and then shame. But I feel like these kind of have that same similarity. I just love the way this is working. I'm not going to do a whole deck walkthrough, but you get the idea of where I'm going with this. I hope, anyway. So I also thought it might actually be a fun idea to try, I'm not going to shuffle these on camera because I'm only going to embarrass myself, but to try and, yeah, I knew this was going to happen, excuse me, to connect with my ancestors right now. So hopefully this will work how I'd like to imagine it. Now, this deck, the Rosebud, isn't shuffled 100%. I haven't cleansed it how I would like to have cleansed it, but this I have. But we're going to chance it anyway. Okay. So, let me just see. What is the message? Okay. Right, so now it's getting a bit chaotic here. So we have one card there. So we'll go with that. I think it's one, is it? Yeah. And if you read reversals, this does work in reverse as well, and so does this deck. So, let's see. Okay. So we have adventure. And we also have 8 of air. Okay, interesting. I'm getting the sense here, the word I'm getting like is kind of complexity. So, and I love the way the moon is in connection here as well. So, like an intricate, there's more to it, you know, as in there's skill that's needed. So I do want to look at this because obviously I haven't worked with this deck, so I don't know how it speaks. So we have 8 of air, and we have escapable cage. You're the web, you're the weaver, the cords are yours to cut. Okay, which makes sense. That makes huge sense. Then we also have adventure, and then let's see. The wonder of the seemingly impossible pulls us in and captivates us completely. We are inspired by what might lie beyond the horizon and compelled to see it for ourselves. Sometimes fear or pain can override this desire, but an adventure is as needed as any comfort that we seek. It is within our nature to grow, change, and expand, and without these aspects in our life, we can feel purposeless. Whether it's a small adventure or a big one, it instills a sense of excitement, hope, and wonder. If you've pulled this card, you are being called on an adventure. Let go of your expectations and allow for your curiosity to take hold. You never know what might happen if you say yes to the great wide yonder. Go ahead and take a chance today. And then you have your ritual, and you also have your affirmations. So that's really cool. So the sense that I'm getting from my ancestors here is their message is really get out of that comfort zone and just head on that big adventure, that taking the open road, going, heading out and really widening my horizons here, not feeling like I have to be stuck maybe like they were once. Or you can also then flip the script here going, okay, so this is somebody I'm connecting with that has ventured out, that has seen the world, that has maybe cut ties with their family and have gone out. So do you see where you can go with the interpretations of the cards and how you may pick up subtle feelings and things like that? Now that is not something that I can show you how to pick up, but I can in one sense tell you how I do it. But for the most part, intuition is something that you yourself have to really work at. So my lovelies, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it kind of maybe inspired you to get some decks out that you might want to work with for your ancestral work. Again, it doesn't have to be a deck that was specifically made for ancestral work. Like I find my Dark Mansion Tarot works extremely well for connecting with spirit guides, my ancestors. It's just a fantastic deck to connect with for that kind of work. So again, you don't have to go for the aesthetically pleasing. I just personally was feeling drawn to these personally because I just like the art style. It's kind of what I lean towards even when I'm creating and things like that. So that is just personally my own taste, but again, everybody's is going to be different. Maybe you like a much more cutesy deck or a fluffy deck as we call it. It doesn't really matter what you call it. You can pick whatever deck you want to connect with your ancestors. It doesn't necessarily mean just because of their background or where they may have been grown up, their nationality, anything like that, that you have to get a specific deck that connects with that energy. It's not necessarily, it's you that brings that energy and you are the one that's inviting them in. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. I hope it makes sense. Let me know in the comments below how you connect with your ancestors. What decks are you working with? I'm definitely looking forward to working with this a little bit more. I'm going to have to, I feel, the creative person in me wants to create a really nice journal for this so that I can create a nice memory book as such for it, or maybe what's the word, I can't think of the word right now. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.